This is Dan from Dan's Urban Survival and Prepping. Let's talk about survival skills right after the intro. Clips used are solely the property of the History Channel or are being used for critique, education, and comment only. Thank you.
Nothing could have prepared us for what happened. Millions dead in a matter of weeks. Billions across the world. America was devastated. Nowhere was spared. Without food, water, or power, cities like ours became wastelands. We were just an ordinary family. But pretty soon we realized if we wanted to stay alive, we had to get out of the city. We thought we were leaving the worst behind us. But we were wrong.
Talk about, I have this location, it's 4 to 7 hours outside of the town I live in, that is set up for my bug out location. It's a small town. We have a house there that we have set up for that. We don't live there because it would be too hard to drive back and forth to work or get things done from that location. But we have a home in this small town that we have set up just as a bug out location. And as I said, from about 2015 when I started making videos, I started discussing how I think that's a huge gamble, that I think it's maybe a losing proposition to have a house somewhere in a small town or a small rural community that you do not live in but you plan on using as a bug out location. And here's why. If you're from a small town, you will know immediately that this is true, that there's a weird thought process that even in good times, if someone new buys a home in your community, they're never quite accepted the same way as people who have always been there. They're always outsiders. They're always looked at a little less trustworthy wise, because these are not the people that have been there for generations. In an SHTF situation, these small communities are going to band together. They're going to do everything they can to protect what is theirs. I can speak really only of the small town I grew up in, but I will tell you that in an emergency or a without rule of law situation, in my small little hometown, they would have blocked off both ends of the one road that ran through town, and nobody would get into that town. Nobody would be allowed to come through until things were repaired and back to normal, if that ever happened. And historically, that has happened with a lot of rural communities. Back in the early 1900s, when the Spanish influenza was killing a lot of people, the town of Gunnison, Colorado was the only town that never had an outbreak of it. And the reason for that is the law enforcement and the people of the town refused to allow anyone to come in or out of the town. Didn't matter who you were. If you left town for any reason, you were not coming back in.
Some small communities would put up barriers.
Man said no!
So I believe that there's a great possibility that after an SHTF event, that a lot of these people who have a bug out cabin, a bug out house in a small rural community, will find that that community will not let them enter into the roads to get to their house or cabin, simply out of trying to protect what resources that small town may have. Irregardless of what you may have put aside in that cabin, it won't matter. You will not be able to get to it. And where does that leave you? And knowing the preppers and survivalists the way I do and the ones I've met, these alpha males and alpha females will probably say to this, oh, they're going to let me in to get to my bug out location. And then that puts you again in an untenable, unwinnable situation. One of two things can happen. Either the people inside the town will shoot you outright at the roadblock, in which case you're dead and it doesn't matter. And even if you happen to be tactically more advanced than they are and you're able to force your way in, what's the point? You've just made an enemy of the entire town. So how would you handle this situation? Let me know in the comments below, or make me a video on how you would deal with the situation. And remember, if you like this kind of content, hit that thumbs up button. It helps me out a lot to know that I'm putting out good content. If you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button, the little bell icon. And until next time, this is Dan. Take care of each other.